Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Snedeker. I'm a features editor at Entertainment Weekly, and I'm so excited to be here today with all of you. How many, by a round of cheers, who was at our Rocko's Modern Life panel yesterday? Yeah? Saw some good stuff, right? So we're going to keep that 90s train going because I'm so excited to be here premiering some debut footage from Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie. Right? So if you're like me, you grew up in the 90s maybe the 80s, maybe the 2000s, but you know and you love Hey Arnold, all of his friends. And we've got some of those friends here today to talk to you about this new movie, right? But before we do, there's a special guest backstage who I think will really help set the tone, because when you think of Hey Arnold, one of the things you think of is yelling, Hey Arnold. So, without further ado, please welcome for a special musical performance, the composer of the Hey Arnold theme song and music, Mr. Jim Lang. All right.
Whoops, there it is. Thank you very much. I was going to play the entire score from the Jungle Movie, but they told me I had to move a little bit faster. So we're going to do a song I think you guys know pretty well, and it has some audience participation in it, and I'm trusting you guys to come in when your part comes, okay? So see if this sounds familiar.
All right, so with this going in the back, please help me welcome the cast and creator of Hey Arnold, all right? We're going to start out with the guy who made it all happen, the creator of Hey Arnold, Craig Bartlett. The original voice of Arnold. Please welcome Lane Toran. Can't have Arnold without Gerald. Help me welcome the original voice of Gerald, Jamil Walker-Smith. All right, you love her, you hate her, but you really love her. Her name is Helga, Francesca Marie Smith. And come on, you can't have Helga without Helga's best friend. Please help me welcome the voice of Phoebe, Anndi McAfee. All right, joining the cast, brand new, the new voice of Arnold, it is Mason Vale Cotton. And finally, the new voice of Gerald. Give it up for Benjamin Lil Peanut Flores Jr. Guys, the cast and creator of Hey Arnold. Please have a seat. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jim Lang, the composer. Yeah. Oh, man. Somebody break down these emotions. What does it feel like right now to be here? What's going through everybody's head right now?
Feels pretty good.
Whoa!
That's pretty much it.
So, Craig, how did all of this happen? What was the phone call you got that made this a possibility for Arnold to be coming back?
I didn't actually make the phone call or get one. I just went in and said, "Isn't it about time we made the Jungle movie?" And that was.
Yeah.
It was really a lot of people came of age and they graduated from college and they got out there and they got jobs and a lot of people came to work at Nickelodeon. About a third of the people that work there are like 25 to 30 something, and some of them are here.
Oh, yeah.
And they just said, "Why don't you guys bring back Hey Arnold?" And I think that in the age of social media, it just started to happen. And so that's how it started. And I said, before we reboot the series, we need to make the Jungle movie. And so I pitched the Jungle movie to them all over again.
Yeah. Well, right?
Yeah.
Was this something that had been in your head? I mean, when Arnold was off the air, were you writing? Were you sketching? Like, how was he kind of in your face?
Well, you know, in the time between when we finished around 2002, that's when the first movie came out, and now, social media happened, and I just noticed, I immediately started posting Arnold pictures, and I noticed that people liked that best. And so I kind of tried to curate all my Arnold art and just see what I could do to get people interested and get their attention. And it kind of caught fire about 2012 when the grown-up super fans started making really killer fan art.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that, huh? Look at that.
Yeah. So wait, and also, I mean, Craig, tell me some of these
These are all BGs from the Jungle movie that you're going to see. You're going to see backgrounds. We're going to show a lot of stuff from the Jungle movie today.
Totally.
There it is at night. I always love that day and night boarding house.
So for some of the original cast, Lane, Jamil, Francesca, Anndi, this original fabulous foursome. Give it up for this foursome. Like amazing. I'm geeking out right now. How did these characters kind of stay with you? I mean, over the years, were you slipping into those voices? Did you ever stop doing them?
That was just my real voice. I don't know.
Well, for me, Phoebe was the character for me, so I do have to go to that place to get her up here. So it's my job to be able to recreate that character, and it is my honor to recreate that character. So she sort of disappeared for a while. And then when the buzz started happening about the Jungle movie, yes, I did go there. I did bring her out again.
So I've always said that Helga, her voice is my natural voice. She just expresses things and goes to extremes that thankfully I generally don't in my day-to-day life. But there have definitely been a few moments through the years, especially, you know, I was working either like judging speech and debate or teaching or all these jobs where I kind of wanted to be taken seriously as someone, you know, pseudo-intellectual or academic. And someone would realize, like I would get really worked up about something and they would hear Helga come out in my voice and they could not take me seriously anymore. It was all over at that point. But other than that, like, you know, I think she's definitely shaped so much of my sense of humor, and, you know, I apologize for like all the totally acidic comments I make sometimes because I still think it's hilarious. But yeah, she's in there. Always will be.
Jamil, how about you?
Well, when you're at a party, someone finds out you did the voice of Gerald.
Oh yeah.
Depending on how many cocktails they've had, they will be determined for you to, you know, say, let's hit the dance floor as Gerald, you know? So,
What do you get requested the most?
you know, I get watch the hair.
Watch the hair.
Good one.
I get you're one crazy kid, crazy but bold.
Now, how did you guys all react when you found out the news? When you got the phone call that this was happening, did you ever think it could? How did you do you remember those days when you found out?
Olivia Hack and I were together at, she plays Rhonda. We were at lunch with Craig, and he told us to our face, and we were both like, it didn't process. Like, no, really? So it was a shock for us. And then we started to process it, and it's been surreal ever since.
Totally.
I'd say, the thing with anything that's nostalgic, there's always that fear of revisiting it because it's not going to have the same impact it had before. And the beautiful thing about this show is that it's almost, it's cooler when I revisit it. It means more to me now than it did then. Like the themes and the characters and the world, it's more relevant now than then. So it's more than just, it's like classic. And I think that's a testament to the work of Craig and, the spirit of what we were doing. So I was super excited. And it's great to finally be able to interact with human beings who love the show. Because when we did it, we were children, and by the time the show came out, we were no longer the age of the people watching the show. So it's really humbling and overwhelming and just incredible. So I was happy.
Well, that leads me into those two gentlemen over on the edge there. Mason and Benji. Give it up for the new Arnold and Gerald. Guys, what did Hey Arnold mean to you, and what have you sort of learned about this cartoon that they all grew up on that now you guys kind of get a chance to take over?
When I found out that I was gonna get the part, I was just happy because I'm a part of a legacy. Like I said before, this is like living history, and I'm just I'm just happy to be a part of it, and with all these beautiful people up here. So it was a thrill, man. When I found out I got it, I was super happy because I'm familiar with Hey Arnold, and I really binge watched it so I can make sure I was.
Yeah, Benjamin went to school on this, man.
Yeah,
he really learned it.
Yeah, I was watching clips while I was doing the voiceover. So.
What was your favorite episode that you discovered?
Oh, on Hey Arnold.
Ooh.
Pressure.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know.
So many you don't remember.
No, but I was binge watching like crazy. But I don't know if I have a favorite one. But I just love the show. I love the message about the show. There's so many different messages. So.
Yeah. All right. Mason, how about you?
When I got it, I didn't really know much about the show, but I knew that it was something big and that a lot of people knew about it. And so I just started to watch some of the shows. Not as much as he probably watched, but enough to get familiar with the voice of Arnold. And yeah, I was just pretty stoked to be a part of something that is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Now.
They look like they could be Arnold and Gerald in the live action movie, right? Look at them. Look at those guys. Killing it.
I was going to ask Lane and Jamil, what is it like? What's your sort of advice on the secret, the key to the Arnold and Gerald voices? What wisdom can you impart?
Too late to give them that.
Oh yeah.
The wisdom, the secret is just you're enough. That's for all of us in the audience. I want to shout out, we got another cast member here. I want to shout out, there's a couple great members here. Harold from Hey Arnold.
Justin Shankaro.
Yeah.
And Big Patty, Harold's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's
Big
here.
Patty. Danielle.
Stand up.
Big Patty, everybody. Olivia Hack's here, too, somewhere. Olivia.
Where's Olivia? Rhonda.
Rhonda Wellington
Yeah,
Lloyd.
yeah.
Woo! Come on.
Now, but I do want to clear it up, though. Lane and Jamil, you have passed the torch to these boys of proper age, as it were.
Look at that new haircut.
But you guys are still in this film, right? Can you
Yes.
tease who you voice without giving it away?
We still play characters in the film, and our characters enter during the jungle part of the film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get to the jungle to get to their part.
Yeah. And now, meanwhile, Francesca and Anndi, I mean, Helga and Phoebe, they're a core duo. They give Arnold and Gerald a run for their money, I would say.
I like to think we do.
Yeah. What's changed for them in the Jungle movie? How are they alike? How are they different?
The future's free mail. They're more empowered.
Francesca, would you like to answer that?
Well, I mean, this may be a little sappy, but it's been a long time, right? It's been just personally like 15, 20 years of growth, of change, of all these things that give me a totally different perspective. And we've been talking about it a lot around this film, that when we were doing it originally, we were just very present. We were kind of right there, living through all of these experiences without really a sense, at least for me, a lot of the times, of how funny it was, of how incredibly emotional and tragic a lot of the beats were, of how messed up her home life was. I mean, that stuff just kind of went over my head. So coming back to it now, I have a much better appreciation for it. It may not be as like authentically naive, but it's for me, it's more like I kind of get it. I kind of get what's at stake, and I think that comes out in Helga's voice too. She's been through a lot, and she's been running through this Arnold love thing for so long. It's like, geez, can we get some resolution, please?
Right?
I think you feel it too.
Come on.
Who wants some resolution?
Who's ready to fall in love at Comic-Con? Get a little love resolution.
But Helga and Phoebe have, in my opinion, such a special friendship because Helga can be awful to her, but at the end of the day, Phoebe understands Helga, and she always forgives her. And Helga is there to say, you are smart. You are worth it. So to me, that's such a special relationship, and it meant a lot to me recording it when I was a kid. Franny and I have known each other a long time. We've been on other things together, and so it was special for us to have that friendship that we could act out. And so to come back to it all these years later, it was just such a gratifying experience. Yeah. Just to have those girls together. I don't want to give away what happens to relationship in the movie, but you can bet there will be a little bit of snarkiness from this direction.
The Jungle movie is a lot about friendship. It's a lot about the friendships between Arnold and Gerald and Helga and Phoebe, and the friendships get tested, they get put through a lot, and it's very rewarding and good. You'll like it, I promise.
Craig, what is it like for you to know? I mean, you guys have all stayed friends. I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like
we've all been in touch with each other.
What is that like for you to know that these kids that you cast years and years ago, like
I know.
you know,
it's been so great. It's so great when they all grew up and we could all go have lunch and they could swear.
Eat hot dogs in the Valley.
And it's been really, really cool. It's been fun. Somehow, all this stuff, we've stayed in touch. We kind of, you know how the social media works. We all see what each other's doing and kind of, we kind of are able to stay in touch in that way, too. The fact that Anndi and Olivia came around and had lunch with us on a regular basis was a good way for me to stay in touch with everybody else. I mean, they were always like, so when's the Jungle movie happening? Come on.
Well, so tell me about day one back on the Jungle movie. What was that like for you? Where did you even kind of begin?
When we started back up?
Yeah.
By the way, a really cool thing about the project is that the crew is like half old school Arnold people who worked on it in the first place, and half super fans who were kids that watched the show and then grew up and became pros. So the script was written half by myself and Joe Purdy, an old school Arnold writer, and also by Laura Srebny and Justin Charlebois, who were writing for Nick at that time. And I interviewed a lot of writers from the next generation, and they were clearly super fans who had an encyclopedic knowledge of the series. So it was really great I love that. It's one of my favorite things. Is like who can stump who on Arnold trivia, and it was the same thing with the artists and the directors, and everybody is a mix of old and new. Rami Muskies is here. Rami, where are you? Rami Muskies. He's the supervising producer and supervising director of the Jungle movie, and the two of us were developing the movie 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, and both of us worked on it for a couple years together, very excited about what we were making, and then when the whole project got canceled, we had to put it in a big box and tape it shut and send it to a warehouse. We were joking it was going to go off to that Indiana Jones warehouse and disappear forever. And when we untaped it and got the old art out and tried to remember, who could remember what was about what, it was an amazing moment. It was so great. And just like Rami's an old school member of the crew, Stu Livingston. Stu, are you here? Hi. Hey, there's Stu. Stu's the other director. Each of them directed an hour of the Jungle movie. It's a 2-hour movie. And so I was able to have that great energy of a super fan and the old school people all working together. So it really benefited from that, and it's a really cool part of the narrative of what this project is. Something that we wanted long ago. It got canceled. 15 years later, we got to have a whole new look at it. We wrote the script again from scratch. We just started over. And this collaboration between the old and the new is really one of the cool things about it. The fact that it was, everybody out here in the crowd really wanted it and really helped to get it to happen. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you. Yeah.
thank you.
For the cast and for everybody. How did you see Hey Arnold in the world over the last 15 years? Did you see the kind of the memes? Did you just hear about it a lot? What was the strangest place you ever saw Hey Arnold in the world?
I have kind of a cute story from like 2 weeks ago that kind of blew my mind. We were, I was with a couple of people trying to save a little kitten that had fallen down a storm drain after a dance event, and so we were all huddled around on this curb, waiting for like the fire department to show up, and a dancer walks by and shouts, "Stoop kid's afraid to leave his stoop." And he had no idea who I was, or my background, and so that was this sort of light bulb moment of like, oh right, this is okay. This is a fan out there.
Yeah, Stoop Kid for some reason really resonates with fans. They love him. He's back, by the way. Stoop Kid, Pigeon Man. I made sure to bring back Stoop Kid and Pigeon Man especially. There was a weird internet rumor that went around, which I really hated, that Pigeon Man was a suicide story, that he jumped off the building, and Arnold was so traumatized that he imagined instead that he hooked up to a bunch of pigeons and flew away. And I hate that because I got online and was like, no, he didn't. I was there. And it doesn't matter. People just want to believe what they want to believe. So I'm like, well, then, damn it, I'm putting Pigeon Man in my movie. Right? So he's alive and well. He's been in Paris. That's what he did. He hooked up those pigeons, and then they like flew away. And then he's been in Paris taking care of pigeons there. So he's been great. He's fine.
I feel like internet theories really took off with Arnold. There were a lot about his parents. Do any theories stick out?
Arnold's parents one's weird too. I don't like that one either. That's like, well, wait, we've seen his parents. We've done episodes with his parents. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Is there anything else to debunk, like Here and Now?
Here and Now? Well, I will say that the script of the Jungle movie is really meant to check a lot of boxes. It's supposed to be like fan heaven, where everything you ever wanted to find out, you find out. And when I pitched it to Nickelodeon, I said, look, I've been aware of what the fans have been looking for all this time. Here's what I think we should do. We should make sure that, one, we clearly find out what Arnold's last name is. Two, which is funny, that was just a joke. First, he didn't have a last name. We were just like, I don't know, what will we make for his last name? And then we thought it was a running gag for a while. It was like that. And the winner is Arnold, no, I can't read the handwriting, And it's like, so it was a joke. And then we thought, well, we better name him, and we came up with what I think is a very good one. And let's just say that it's a very funny little scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And the other thing that people wanted to know was, what happened to his parents? And that's what this movie is all about. And the third thing was, how does Arnold feel about Helga? Because, damn it, at the end of the first movie, she blabbed the whole thing on that rooftop, and then he was like, oh, no, there's 20 minutes, we got to save the neighborhood, and they ran off. And they had that, what I thought was a very funny scene where they both agreed that never happened, because that's sort of like the style of the series. You always try to return to the status quo so you can keep going. But as Helga danced happily down the street, that about 10 minutes after that, she probably went like, wait, what? What a ripoff. I don't even know how he feels. And so that's another very important thing that's going to happen in this movie, much to your satisfaction, I hope.
Right? Let me ask a question. Who here thinks Helga and Arnold should be together?
Come on, I do.
Who doesn't? You got one hand over there? All right.
That's about the right odds.
Yeah. Lane, Francesca, what did you always think about the Helga-Arnold love dynamic?
What do you think?
I feel like we need to confer and then come back with a press release. To sort of harken back to what I was saying earlier, so much of that stuff was just weird and bizarre, and I didn't really take time to think about it when we were recording, right?
You didn't have a crush on me?
I didn't say that, but
all right.
No, I mean, it's the prospect of having this wild, crazy, well, having a shrine, right? Like, it was just so weird that, I don't know, maybe I just couldn't quite process that and have an opinion about whether it was normal or anything else. It was just like, oh, okay, this is what I do now. I have a shrine. Oh, all right, let's move forward.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole theme of the series is unrequited love, because that's just funny. Unrequited love is kind of what we all go through when we're kids, and I just thought it should be there. And we got 200 stories to explore that, and so that's fun too. That's what's great about a TV series. But there's episodes where we show exactly how it should be. Do you remember the episode Married, where you see Phoebe at the end and she has that little daydream about the two of them being soulmates and living happily ever after? That's what we always thought. We just thought they were meant for each other, and they're like, yin and yang, and it's great. So, they're kids, they can't figure it out, they're struggling. Kids are bumbling around, they don't know how to do anything, they don't know how to express themselves. And so we got to explore that over and over and over again for laughs. But at the end of the day, I kind of think those two were meant for each other. So we'll explore that in the Jungle movie.
Yeah. Right. I want to ask Benji and Mason. I mean, you guys are kids now. I want to ask, because I'm old, what is it like to be a kid now? And what sort of resonates with you about the themes in the Jungle movie? I mean, are you seeing yourselves in these kids in this film?
I guess it's okay to be a kid now, first.
Oh, no, yeah. Being
to be a kid,
awesome.
Mason.
Yeah, being a kid's awesome.
We got fake hoverboards now. Yeah. It's got 2 wheels on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of see myself in Arnold because he's just such a chill kid. Yeah. And, just everything is nonchalant. And he's just very nice. And I like to think of me as nice.
Yeah.
Chill.
I gotta say, this is so great for me. I'm looking at Toran and Jamil here, and I'm looking down there at the other two. It's like I've got a mini-me version of these two. And it's like I'm having really funny deja vu right now, like we're all doing it all over again. It's really cool.
Yeah, I see myself in Gerald. Gerald's got a lot of swag, so I feel like any character I play has to have a lot of swag. So he's very loyal too. Gerald's very loyal.
Yeah.
Just like me.
For the cast, was there anything you, in the interim, in the off-the-air time, was there anything you always wanted to know about your character that you thought, I'm never going to know, I'm never going to find this out?
I wanted to know about Gerald's head, because if you look at his hair, it looks like his head is it's like, it goes straight up with his hair. It looks like it goes inside of his hair, and his hair is a hat or something like that. I always wanted to know that.
He's kind of got sort of just a rounded top of his head.
He's drawing it.
That looks like this. If you can see this, it's just like if you shaved his head, it would go like that. It doesn't go way up into the fade.
What does Arnold Skull look like? while we're doing anatomy.
That's so funny when Arnold with that hat, there's actually a little bald spot where the hat's been on for so long. So we try to avoid having the hat off ever. There's a really funny moment in Arnold's hat, episode 3A, where he looks in the mirror and there's a kind of a too big gap between the two halves. It's great. I don't know. They have weird heads, so what can I say?
What about for the original cast? What did you guys always want to know about the characters that you thought
what
would
happens to them when they grow up? I want to see if Helga eventually can express herself in a more appropriate manner. I want to see if she does become president with Phoebe as her vice president. I want to know where Arnold goes, where Gerald goes. Do they get together? I want to know what happens when they get older.
They
That's
go to
what I always wanted to
Comic-Con.
know. Oh, Gerald, I will talk to you later. We'll discuss this behavior.
Did you guys have a favorite? Because one of my favorite things about Hey Arnold is not just you core 4, which are amazing. I love all of you. But you, Craig, you populated this world with such incredible other kids in that school.
Yeah.
I want to throw out some names. Cheer first we got Rhonda. Of course, we have Rhonda. Harold. Big Patty. What about Sid?
Sid.
Oh, we got a real big Sid fan over there.
Stinky.
Yeah. Eugene.
Yeah.
Who else?
Brainy.
Yeah. Oh.
How about Peapod Kid? Did you know that Peapod Kid was played by Jamil?
I was?
Legumes. I thought we were beans. See, I do remember these things.
Yeah. did any of you guys have a favorite character besides your own? Like, who was your second love?
Wait. What about some characters in the boarding house?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oscar?
Oscar. Mr. Wynn.
Mr. Wynn.
And the pig.
Ernie. Oh, yeah, Abner. I do the voice of Abner. Curly. We have a Curly fan. We love Curly. Chocolate Boy.
Oh, wait a minute. The teacher.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Simmons. Yeah, they're all, by the way, they're all in the movie.
What
They're
about
all-
Big Bob and Miriam and Olga?
They're all coming
Pataki's
back.
in there? All the Patakis? Olga?
Wolfgang.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, Wolfgang. That was a fun thing. One by one, the Arnold voices grew up, and I had to say, look, I'm sorry, you don't sound like Arnold anymore, and so we're gonna have to replace you. And it was very tragic. So I said, look, Toran, I'll bring you back as a bully, okay? So he came back as Wolfgang the next year, and then the next year after, well, maybe 2 years after that, I forget. But Philip Van Dyke, his voice broke, and he had to be replaced. So I brought him back as Ludwig, the second bully. So I tried to keep people in the family. You know?
So you say my voice never changed?
No, and Jamil's voice changed, but I thought, what can we do about that? So we had that tonsils episode. Remember that? And it was very meta because Arnold said at the end of the episode, well, your voice may sound different, but you're still Gerald. So I did what I could.
Yeah. For Francesca and Anndi, so you guys are reprising your roles. So tell me about day one for you back in the booth. What was that like?
Well, there were a few stages to the process. We got the sides because they wanted us to come in and essentially audition, right? Just to check and make sure that our voices still worked, especially bringing in new talent and making sure that after 20 years or so we still sounded similar enough. So I'll admit that was a slight existential crisis for me, looking at these sides and thinking, am I still Helga? Can I still be Helga? Because she was such a part of who I was, and more importantly, because I didn't really do much in the way of acting after that. It was sort of like, was she my swan song? I don't really know how to describe it, but it was something very important to me. So going back in had that sense of like questioning myself and putting myself out there pretty vulnerably, right, to make sure that I could still pull this off. So it was very relieving to feel like, you know what, regardless of what they decide, this feels really good for me, and then getting that validation from the rest of the team too, that like, yeah, there's still a part of me that is Helga.
Yeah, she's still Helga. Don't you think?
Thanks, Paul.
Can we get a little Helga shout? A classic Helga line of some sort?
Any requests? Well, a good move at football head? All right, hold on.
Lean back a little bit.
Close your eyes.
Everybody close their eyes.
Move it, football head.
All right, that was...
All right.
Good.
Thanks for the validation, everyone.
That's good.
So there was that, but then we got to do the table read,
The table
right?
read was
That
when
amazing.
Franny and I actually got to act with each other. We didn't get to record with each other, unfortunately, which I was really sad about, because that's part of what I think makes this experience so special, is that we get to act our friendship. I mean, we may not be these people exactly, but we still get to express love and friendship, and that's what was really special about the show. So the table read was that moment. I almost lost it at the table read. I was just like, it was just that being
A lot of heavy
home
stuff
again.
happens in the script, so yeah, we all had to go through the emotions of what happened.
But just being in the room
Yeah.
with some of these people that I hadn't worked with in so long, it was like being with your family again. So unfortunately, we didn't get to record in the studio together, but the table read was very emotional.
Now, you guys you recorded the show all together when you were kids,
Yeah,
right? Which is
exactly.
increasingly rare, I think, now in animation. But
It was great. We recorded at first at Horta in a great big room that had like a giant room with a big high ceiling, and
It's like a
everybody
schoolyard.
everybody all sat in a kind of in a long row with all the mics, and we'd start on page 1 and we'd read to the end, and I would be in there with them, and we'd do Walla
We
together.
were wild animals. Let's just.
And it was a blast. And I think that's a really good way to record a show because everyone, when it's time for their part, they know what just happened and they're swept up in the story, hopefully. So that was how we did it.
So much ad-libbing and just creating new things as we went.
And certainly at the time, it wasn't common to have actual children, right, recording the voices for children characters. I think Peanuts did it, and there was maybe a handful of things, but it was pretty special for us as actors, and hopefully that translated, I think, into what made the show feel very authentic and kind of charming for a lot of the audience members too. But man, I mean, we grew up together. We really did. And for those of us who didn't have a traditional school experience either, this was like our socialization, right? Like every week, years.
Were there like Hey Arnold birthday parties? Like if a cast member had a birthday.
Yeah, there was a cake.
Yeah, I remember I have a hand-drawn Helga card for I think my 10th or 11th birthday from you that everyone.
Oh, good. I'm glad I did.
Thanks. I felt.
Do you guys have any? I mean, when you think back to recording the old show, never old, just the show. Sorry. Do you have like a snapshot memory you always go to, or is it kind of just one? Just a lot of those.
Yeah, let's go down the line. Who remembers what?
Who remembers what?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing?
Well, like a snapshot. Like what's the big Polaroid in your head of your time doing Hey Arnold?
I just picture that big room that we were in all together having fun, basically.
Yeah,
And we're kids. We were just hanging out, really, and we happened to do a job at the same time.
I remember my mother picking me up from school, getting in the car, and handing me the script. And driving, and it was like for 6 years, half the school year after school, every Thursday and Tuesday, I would go to Hey Arnold, and it was incredible. It was special, and I remember playing a lot of Mancala. You know that game?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And
Phoebe was very competitive at all games.
And I remember really loving when we did Walla. And in voiceover, Walla is, so like everyone just kind of mumble to each other right now.
I'll do one, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, here's some Walla. You're all going to be mumbling at a party. It's something good, okay?
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Well, you know.
That's great.
Wow.
There's a thing that, see that over there? Amazing.
So I love doing Walla. Yeah.
I do too. I love being in the Walla groups. If it's only kids, I would lay out, or be brainy. But if it was an adult thing, I loved it because then I felt like later when I watched the episode, I was at the party. I can hear myself. You know, I'm such a ringer anyway. I'm always like, bah, ha, ha. I have a huge laugh. So you know, it's great. It's great to do Walla because you can hear yourself being part of just that funny, weird background.
Yeah.
You did your Polaroid, right? Your snapshot.
Yeah, snapshot.
Oh yeah.
There are a ton of those memories, right, of just being at the in the studio with everyone and all being together. I loved the opera episode. That was
was
a
so
lot of
fun
fun,
to
and I
record.
think pushing.
That's how I learned opera. I just need to that's how I learned every opera I know. 2.
But I have a very specific memory, and I'm embarrassed to say I'm not even 100% sure which episode it was, but I think it was the Christmas episode. And I actually have a memory of someone who he was I guess directing from behind the glass. It was Jamie Mitchell who was back there, and I think you were in the room with us. And it was one of those like really deep it might have been like Merry Christmas Arnold, or one of those lines that just kind of like gets you right in the feels. And like I said, I just kind of didn't get how intense it was going to be. But he did, right? He had the perspective on it and was really trying to just get that extra little, knife twist of emotion out of me. And I have almost this like tunnel vision memory of it being like kind of dark and late and the end of the record, and we were all kind of just burned out. And he was like, just give me one more, just really, put your soul on the table here. And that was one of the few moments when I did get it, when I was like, wow, we're kind of doing something.
It's a great line, isn't it? When she says Merry Christmas, Arnold, that's a pretty good line. Yeah.
I think my snapshot is definitely the line of kids, and The fact that we all tried so hard to make each other laugh, we were ridiculous. There was so much energy, and we had to be reined in so many times. And I may have been a little competitive, so I may have come in with something new skill, like push-ups or something, and try to outdo the
She
boys.
used to do upside down push-ups against the wall.
I did not. They're on my knuckles. But anyway, it's that energy of pushing each other and joking with each other and creating new things because we're trying so hard to sort of, in a really fun, familial way, outdo each other. So it's that snapshot of all the kids and the energy, I think.
And guys down there, I mean, you've developed a couple snapshots yourselves, right?
I think I remember one embarrassing moment for me. Well, I thought it was embarrassing. At the table read, I had a line, and I had to say something to Mr. Wynn, and it spelled like H-Y, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I, tried to be all cool about it, under my breath, be like, Mr. Hen. And I was like, wow, that's a weird name. And then Francesca told me it's Mr. Wynn.
Win.
Oh.
It's purposefully misspelled.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I would just have to say when me and him were in the studio together, we were going over our lines and stuff. That would probably have to be my snapshot because I never met him before, and we just started this, and so we had to create a friendship so it would be real, because all the other episodes of the show, the friendship between Gerald and Arnold was real. So I wanted to make sure that when I did it, that it was real between me and him, so it could show on screen.
Way to go, Benjamin. Thank you.
All right, so as you guys can all see on this screen here, these are your first look at Arnold, Helga, Gerald, and Phoebe's jungle outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Craig, tell us why. Tell us a little bit about the plot of the Jungle movie. Why are they in the jungle?
So they're in the jungle because they were going to go there 15 years ago, for one thing. But actually now, when you watch it this fall...
2017.
Arnold has that map, as you may recall, and so we're going to start with the map. Arnold he has this opportunity to win a contest through the school and win a trip to San Lorenzo, which is the country where his parents disappeared. And so he's struggling with the fact that he wants to go find his parents, but for everybody else, it's a class trip. And, well, as you can imagine, they get to go, and we're going to set up a little clip for you. We're going to show you...
Yeah.
We're going to show you a scene from the movie, and I'll set up the clip. Arnold and Gerald alone try to win the contest, and they work and work and work and work, and it ends in a disaster. And Arnold goes for a long, sad Arnold walk. And Abner, he comes with them, so he's out walking Abner. And when we pick up this clip that we're about to show you, Arnold's concluding his long, sad walk. So why don't we watch the clip?
One long, sad walk. I almost rented your room out.
Hi, Grandpa.
Someone came to see you. They're up on the roof.
The roof?
I don't know. I just work here, short man.
Whoa!
Surprise!
Arnold! This is incredible. Everyone's here.
You better have a seat, Arnold.
Why? What's going on?
Lights!
The legend of Arnold will be passed down from kid generation to kid generation and onward. And Gerald is the keeper of all legends, the teller of all tales. Take it away, Gerald.
We call him Arnold. Friend to all, force for decency, doer of good. He's the most dependable, trusty, true blue friend I can imagine. Help you in a second, no questions asked. And I know plenty of others feel the same. Let's hear from some people who Arnold has helped.
I would have never left my stoop. And now look at me, sitting on the biggest stoop in the city. And it's all because of Arnold. Now I can harass people from my stoop and from off my stoop. Anyway, guy's got a great heart.
He helped me get over myself. Now I'm tolerant, gracious, and self-effacing. Oh, and humble. I'll get a copy of this, right?
Arnold put me back together with my old partner, Don, and remade my career. I get applause from fans, but Arnold's the real star, baby.
Arnold helped me escape the cage of my old rooftop habitat. Now I'm as free as a bird. Merci, Arnold.
Arnold listened to me and treated me just like another friend. He's, you know, pure of heart. I'll never forget that, Arnold.
I can inaudibly say that the overesteemed Arnold put the coach back in a Coach Wittenberg.
I was a one-dimensional bully until Arnold showed me my sensitive side.
Arnold. Never heard of him. Arnold almost killed me, but then saved my life. Got me a new fish, kept me from going back. Thanks, Arnold. What a pal. I'm okay.
Pure of heart. That's Arnold. And that's why he deserves to win the trip to San Lorenzo. Because he's done so much for others. He's a humanitarian, just like his parents, and the helpers for humanity.
Monkey Man!
Hey, Arnold, you're a bold kid and a true hero.
Thank you all so much. But aren't we too late to enter the contest?
I have wonderful news, Arnold. Once the Helpers for Humanity saw this video, we were immediately selected to go to San Lorenzo. That's right, we won! Never fear, I have every minute planned out for this trip. Getting anyone lost is definitely not on this agenda.
You ever travel with a dozen kids before?
I know this video wouldn't have happened without you, Gerald. I can't thank you enough.
You should thank Helga. This video was her idea. You should see all the videos she has.
Around the city, amazing. Anyway, it's done. We're going to San Lorenzo.
Wow, thank you, Helga.
And I have to go wash my socks.
So that's the story. A football-headed kid wins the contest and gets to go with his whole class to the Central American country of San Lorenzo.
Right?
Right?
Panel, how are we feeling?
Ah, pretty good. Great work down there,
Ah, that's crazy.
Mason and Benjamin.
I mean, what are what's the most?
So many questions.
Was it surreal, just like watching all of that? I mean, is that?
Thank you. What a great response. Thanks, you guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate that very much.
Also, like, of course, Helga's been filming Arnold all along.
Right.
Like, of course.
That's what was really fun about it, was we thought, what if she's been shooting kind of surveillance footage her whole life? And I would love it if somebody can guess how many episodes from the series are quoted in that, but shot from a different angle. And Stu Livingston boarded that sequence. It's a really cool job of somebody who really loves the show, picking out, what could he, and I love when Rhonda and Nadine hug it out, and she's up in a tree. It's just so great. It's really great. I love it.
Yeah. We also saw, we saw Rhonda taking some selfies. She's got a cell phone now.
Right.
Has technology kind of entered the fray
Well,
here?
we were really careful, you know. We've been trying to reboot this series in a way that contemporary, makes it more contemporary, but at the same time doesn't wreck what it is. So we thought we'd really still kind of keep them kids. So the only one who has a cell phone on this trip is Rhonda. And funny stuff happens to that cell phone, I should say.
Now, for the cast, I have one last question about your characters. We still have more time, don't worry. What do you think is the most underrated thing, underappreciated thing about your character? Everyone loves your characters, right? But what do you see that you don't necessarily think everyone else has always seen about your character?
I think everyone gets it. I don't know.
Arnold, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at risk of sounding pandering, I'm always overwhelmed by how intense the responses are, and how analytical a lot of them are, and how much fans see, right, and how much Helga has meant to fans in ways that I admittedly was clueless about in a lot of ways, right? Like they show me so much more that I didn't appreciate about the character. So you guys got it.
Ask it again.
What do you think that people don't really know or understand about your character?
Oh.
Yeah, what do you see in Gerald no one else does?
Well, he's our character, so I think of it like that. I don't think he's mine, but I think something that when I watch him now that I'm just reminded of is like having friends and playing outside and like being entertained, telling stories. It's like when I saw that, I'm like, oh, he sure did used to like talk about. He used to weave these. He's like a griot. He would tell these like stories and these legends.
The urban legends.
Yeah. So, and then beyond that, you know, the same question we all ask when we watch cartoons is like, he wears the same shirt every time. What is that 33? Where'd that come from?
The 33, I just thought it looked good on there. 2 3s next to each other, it just had a nice look.
Because when I turned 33, I was like, I thought, you know, I had a Gerald moment.
I love running into people. Last year at the Nick party after the con, the DJ was wearing a big 33 jersey, and I was like, hey, how you doing, man? I created the show.
Oh. Or what's really fun is like on Halloween, when you go out.
Oh, yeah.
And you see people dressed like Hey Arnold characters.
And shout out to the cosplay I'm seeing out here. I see 2 Helga
yeah.
photos. Anybody else?
I understand there's a lot of Helgas on the street. And there's a lot of cosplay Helgas that we're going to run into.
Who else has Arnold cosplay on right now? Stand up. Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there they go.
All right.
Phoebe, that's nice.
I love that Phoebe is underrated, personally. She has so many secrets, and they come out in the oddest ways. Like there will be a picture of Gerald in the back of her locker, or she'll whip out a flashlight like a samurai sword. Or I just love, or when she is asked to drive the car in Grand Prix, and she's like, "Oh, I couldn't possibly," and then she's just like, she goes nuts. I love that she has all these secrets we sort of find out. So I kind of like her being a little bit under the radar.
Do you guys have anything to add? My boys on the end. Good job, by the way. That was like spot on Arnold Gerald. No time has passed.
Gerald's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Arnold is thought as he's like I wouldn't say tough, but like he really shows no emotion. But he has some emotion in him, and I'm pretty sure you'll see some of it in this
his hidden
movie.
strengths come out in this story. Yeah.
Craig, what about the balance of old versus new in the Jungle movie? I mean, we saw all these great old characters. We know there are Easter eggs for fans.
Yeah.
What's some of the new stuff? Who do we meet? Who we don't know?
Well, we get to find out a whole lot more about what happened to his parents, for one thing, and we get to learn about the mysterious green-eyed people who were only hinted at in the journal. I hope you all saw the journal. If you haven't, it's kind of required viewing to go out and watch Parents' Day in the journal, and you kind of get that background story that you're going to need to get into this. On the other hand, if people have never seen Arnold ever and they watch the movie, we were also very careful to try to make it so you could plonk down and kind of meet everyone and learn everyone. As you can see, I really tried hard to put everybody in that scene, and it makes for a nice poster.
Yeah, Stoop Kid's having fun.
Yeah, like I say, I was really vested in showing Pigeon Man and Stoop Kid for personal reasons. But like what I would love to do as we go forward would be to try to. I'd love to do more Stoop Kid episodes. Clearly, he's kind of out and about now, and he's a very funny guy. I love Danny Cooksey, who played the voice of Stoop Kid. And I think Pigeon Man has an interesting story, too. He can hook up pigeons and fly. That's cool. So, things like that. It'd be fun to, how can we stay true to what this is and at the same time keep growing and exploring? I made him a year older. They're heading into 6th grade at the end of this story for that reason, too, just to show time has passed, things are changing, things are happening.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll ever see them all as adults? Do you think you would ever do a flash way forward?
Yeah, that's really a fun idea, and you can do it in dreams and flash forwards. It's one thing to try to create a whole new spin-off series, but it's another to just say, hey, let's just have a quick look at them as adults.
Yeah.
I also would love, since in making this movie, we wrote so much, and we had to trim and try to make it fit in the 2-hour format. So there's some deleted scenes. So I'd love to just go look at those deleted. Hey, Arnold, remember when we were in the jungle? What happened then? And then you could just run it.
Totally. So, does this film leave open the possibility for more? Or is this
I can tell you enough about this that it's meant to be great closure, because it's closure for all of us as well. Raimi can tell you that. Closure happens, and it's happening right now. But also, it was meant to be at the very end of the story. They're just starting 6th grade, so that opens the door to the adventures they'd have if they were the cool 6th graders at PS 118.
I love it. Ooh. Well, thank you all so much for being a part of this panel. Can we get one more round of applause, please, for our cast of Hey Arnold? If you guys want even more Hey Arnold exclusive access, find a Helga outside. You find a Helga, you get more Hey Arnold. And go to the interactive experience in Petco Park. And of course, there's a ticketed signing later today. Yeah. But Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie, premiering this fall.
Thank you.
Comes out fall 2017. Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Jim Lang, who came and played that main title.
Yeah, Jim Lang, baby.
That was really cool, wasn't it? And of course, Jim scored that clip you saw. Wasn't that cool music? I really liked it.
Yeah.
Thanks, fans, for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Y'all are incredible.
All right.